I thought I was alone that night, until I heard the door creak behind me, and when I turned around, there he was. The man I hadn't seen in years. My cousin's best friend. The one who used to tease me. Watch me when he thought I wasn't looking. He didn't say much at first. Just looked at me. Smirked. And then he pulled my hair. Gently. Like a secret he had kept for far too long. It wasn't just playful. It wasn't innocent. It was something more. Froze. Because in that single moment, everything between us changed. And what happened next left me completely speechless. Please don't forget to subscribe and comment. I never imagined something so simple, something so playful, could flip my world upside down in seconds. It all started with a tug on my hair, a mischievous pull that felt more like a dare than an accident. That moment, that single gesture, was the beginning of something I never expected. It was late summer in Charleston, and I was house-sitting for my aunt while she visited her sister in Maine. Her home was old, creaky, and charming, nestled under weeping oaks with moss draping like curtains. The kind of house that whispered secrets if you listened closely enough. I just returned from a long, exhausting day at the antique shop I managed, kicked off my heels, and poured myself a glass of red wine. The quiet was soothing, but a little too quiet. That's when I heard the door creak behind me. "Scared you, didn't I?" Came a deep voice I hadn't heard in years. I turned, nearly dropping my glass, and there he was, Henry Wade. My aunt's neighbor. He used to tease me relentlessly when I was a teenager. Back then, he was just my older cousin's brooding best friend, always leaning on the porch rail, always watching. He was trouble. Trouble I never had the nerve to touch. "Henry," said startled. "You still make that face when you're caught off guard." He smirked and stepped into the kitchen like he belonged. He had changed, but not too much. His eyes were still that stormy blue-gray. His jaw a little rougher, his arms broader. He wore a white cotton shirt, sleeves rolled just enough to hint at years of labor behind those muscles. My breath caught for reasons I wasn't ready to admit. "What are you doing here?" asked my voice thin. "Checking on the house," he said, grabbing a bottle of water from the fridge like it was his own. "Your aunt always lets me keep an eye on things when she's away. I didn't expect to see you though. I'm house-sitting." He leaned against the counter, eyes scanning me like he was trying to see straight through. I suddenly became very aware of my tank top clinging to my skin and the fact that I hadn't changed out of my fitted jeans. I turned my back to him, pretending to focus on my glass. "I remember you used to wear your hair up all the time," he said casually. "Now you let it down. I like it better this way." I didn't respond. I just sipped slowly and stared out the window. My heart thudded in my chest, and I hated that he still had this effect on me. He stepped closer, not touching me, just close enough that I could feel the heat radiating off him. "You always did run away when someone paid you a compliment." "I don't run," I said, setting my glass down with more force than I intended. "Don't you?" he said. Then suddenly, gently but with purpose, he reached out and took a lock of my hair between his fingers. Froze. "Still soft," he murmured, then tugged lightly. Not to hurt but to draw me into him. That simple pull, that teasing grip, sent shivers across my scalp and down the back of my neck. "Henry," I whispered. "I missed that voice," he said, not letting go. "And I always wondered what it'd sound like when you stopped pretending you didn't notice me." Everything about the room shifted then. The air grew heavier, charged. It wasn't just flirting anymore. It wasn't harmless. There was something deeper brewing, something unsaid that had waited too long. "I should get ready for bed," I murmured, trying to step away. "You're trembling," he said, catching my wrist. His hand was warm, his grip secure but careful. He didn't push, just held. "Tell me to leave and I will." Couldn't. Not because I didn't want him to, but because something inside me, something buried deep, had waited years for this moment. I was tired of silence, tired of pretending. He let go of my wrist, but his eyes never left mine. "I'll be across the yard," he said finally. "Porch lights always on." That night I didn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling, remembering the way his voice dipped when he said my name, the glint in his eye when he pulled my hair. The tension between us was undeniable, slow burning and far too dangerous to ignore. The next morning I stepped onto the porch with my coffee and nearly dropped the mug again. There he was, barefoot, shirtless, covered in sawdust, working on a broken fence post between the yards. He looked up and grinned like he'd been expecting me. "Morning, sunshine." I rolled my eyes, but I couldn't help smiling. "You always this loud at 8 a.m. You always this distracting," he shot back. I laughed. Maybe I shouldn't have. But the way he looked at me, it wasn't just teasing anymore. Every day that week, Henry found a reason to visit. Fix the gutters, drop off groceries, bring over leftover pie. And every day, the air between us got thicker. Every glance, every brush of his fingers across mine when we passed a dish or reached for the same spoon. Thursday evening it rained. Hard. Thunder shook the windows. I was curled on the couch with a blanket when there was a knock at the back door. "Your porch light was flickering," Henry said, rainwater dripping from his hair. I opened the door and without thinking pulled him inside. He was soaked. His white tee clung to him, revealing more than I was ready to see. His jaw clenched as I stepped closer with a towel. "You didn't have to come," I whispered, patting his hair dry. "You didn't tell me not to." We stood there inches apart. The only sound was the thunder rolling in the distance and the soft beat of our breathing. Then he reached up again and took a strand of my hair. "You still tremble when I do this." "I do not." He pulled gently, bringing my face toward his. "You sure?" I closed my eyes, heart racing. He didn't kiss me. Not yet. He just hovered, his breath mingling with mine, his fingers in my hair, his presence overwhelming. The moment held for what felt like forever. "Do you want me to stop?" he asked. "No," I whispered. He leaned in then, finally brushing his lips against mine, not demanding but tasting, exploring. His hands tangled in my hair now, firmer this time, holding me in place as our kiss deepened. My legs nearly gave out. He pulled away barely. "You have no idea how long I've waited for that." "I might," I said, breathless. The days that followed were a blur of tension and stolen moments. He'd find ways to touch me, a hand at my lower back, a whisper in my ear, brushing hair from my face. Nothing crossed the line, but everything danced along its edge. Saturday night we sat on the porch under the stars. The air was humid and electric. "Do you remember that summer when you were 17? He asked. "How could I forget? You called me kiddo and poured soda on my shoes. I was trying to get your attention. You could have just said hi. I was 21. You were too young. I'm not 17 anymore, Henry." He looked at me like I was the only thing that mattered. Then he stood, walked behind me, and slowly gathered my hair into one hand. My breath caught. "This," he whispered, tugging gently, "drives me crazy." My eyes fluttered shut. "Why?" "Because it's you. It's always been you." I turned, slowly rising to meet his eyes. "Then stop holding back." He didn't. His mouth found mine again, urgent now, as though he couldn't waste another second. His hands roamed my back, then my waist, then cupped my face with a tenderness that made me weak. It wasn't just heat, it was history, memory, years of longing coiled into a single moment. That night we didn't speak much. We just held each other. The way his arms wrapped around me, the way his fingers threaded through my hair, it was everything I didn't know I needed. He whispered things against my skin, soft, reverent things. Not graphic, not crude, just true. By morning, the sun streamed through the window, and I knew nothing would be the same. "Do you regret it?" I asked, sipping coffee while wrapped in one of his old flannel shirts. He walked over, kissed my temple and said, "Not even close." That was 2 years ago. Today, I wear a ring on my finger and still get butterflies when he pulls my hair just to make me smile. We tell people we met years ago, but we never tell them the moment everything changed. Because some stories don't need to be explained. Some moments, some touches, some tugs, speak louder than words. And what happened after he pulled my hair left me speechless. Forever,